Good afternoon. I'm DJ Wells of the Urban Health Program at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and this is Urban Health Hotline, where each week you have an opportunity to call in and have your questions answered about educational opportunities that are available at the University of Illinois, about the health professions, potential health careers that you might want to think about, and about just basic things that are going on in the community as it relates to both health and education. Remember, this is a call-in show. It's your show. If you've got questions about anything that we're talking about today, feel free to give us a call. The number's right there at the bottom of your screen, 312-738-1060, and the phone lines are open so you can call at any time. We're joined today by Eric Meredith. Eric is a student in the College of Applied Health Sciences at the University of Illinois at Chicago. He's one of our Urban Health Program students, and he's working on a degree in nutrition. And I'm sure that our listeners, our viewers today are going to be very interested in issues of nutrition.
I hope so. Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your coming out.
Thank you for the invite.
Eric, why don't you first just kind of share a little bit of your personal story. How is it that you came to be interested in nutrition, and kind of what have you done with it so far?
Well, I started cooking at an early age, right around 9 years old. My mom, much like most folks, needed a little bit of extra time, so she thought it would be helpful if she taught me how to cook, and I had a younger sister, so I began preparing meals at 9 years old. Kind of fell in love with the culinary arts and became a chef. Went to culinary school about 7 years ago.
Wow.
Started a healthy meal delivery service and was billing myself as a healthy chef. And one of the things that I thought would be helpful is if I actually learned more about nutrition. And when I looked around for programs, I actually went to UIC, got my business degree as an undergraduate, and said, hey, they got a great Masters of Nutrition program and allows me to become a dietitian when I finish. So that's how I came upon, the master's program at UIC, and kind of that's cooking at an early age is what got me started focusing on nutrition.
Sure, I remember, and when I was that age, I used to get upset if someone would ask me to boil a pot of water. So I'm always impressed by people who have a love for cooking, and interestingly, once I moved out on my own, and I moved out of state for a short while and kind of got tired of fast food for dinner every night, and I started calling home to my grandmother.
Wow.
And learned how to cook by, all right, I got a chicken in front of me. What do I do with it?
Right.
And that was a great way to learn.
And that's how I learned.
Yep. Outstanding. Well, what you mentioned that you kind of decided to get a nutrition degree to supplement the things that you were doing as a chef. Why did you choose UIC specifically to study nutrition?
Well, one of the reasons, there are only a couple of programs in the city, around the city area, who have what's called a coordinated program in nutrition, which allows you to not only get the academic portion, but be able to do the internship, so you can sit for the registered dietitian exam. And so once again, I had a great experience as an undergraduate in the early 90s, so I figured this made the most sense. Also, me being a veteran, I was able to pay for a couple semesters using the Illinois Veterans Grant. Currently active in the College of Business as a mentor, the College of Business Alumni Association. I got inducted to the Alumni Leadership Academy.
Outstanding. So
it was just an easy fit for me once I found out the UIC had the type of program that I wanted.
Outstanding. And certainly, Eric, you're a good example of the many outstanding students we've got in all of the health sciences at UIC. We're so proud of all of our urban health program students, and the fact that you've taken on leadership roles, both in business and now also in the health sciences, is just very much a part of the program that we've come to know and love. The urban health program at UIC. It's amazing how many outstanding students come through the urban health program. Speaking of students and the urban health program, I know that there's an urban health. We will be getting to nutrition in just a minute, because I know folks are going to be interested in that. But I understand that there's an urban health program student organization that's forming in the College of Applied Health Sciences. And we should point out too, Eric, that when we talk about the applied health sciences, typically when someone says I'm going into the health sciences, then people think of medicine, maybe think of nursing or dentistry, and yet there are so many other healthcare careers, and many of those can be found in the College of Applied Health Sciences.
Yep.
What are some of your colleagues studying? Some of your fellow students in Applied Health Sciences that you're aware of, and then tell us a little bit about that student organization as well.
Okay. Well, some of the other activities that people participate in other majors are physical therapy. And a lot of people probably have come upon physical therapy if you've had a softball injury, falling downstairs, or you need to rehab anything, particularly that can't heal on its own, or physical therapy helps you get there a lot quicker.
Right.
Occupational therapy, a lot of people who have aging, family members, this helps you with, activities of daily living,
Right.
Getting in and out of the shower, being able to cook, transportation. These are all things that occupational therapy does. And a lot of kinesiology students can kind of go a couple different routes. They can go into research, they can go into medical school, physical therapy, occupational therapy. A lot of people study, biomechanical movement. They're studying how athletes move, how people move, designing medical equipment. A couple of the other things, we have informatics program that studies how information is used in a healthcare setting, which is real big. And I'm sure we all know that President Obama is real big on, using information technology in the healthcare field to help with efficiency. So I think that's a really big growing field. And of course, there's nutrition that we have in our particular program. So those are a few of the programs that are in the applied health sciences.
Okay, and then we were talking about the student organization,
Right.
and certainly there are professional organizations. You can get out in the field, and I would imagine there's a American Association of Nutritionists,
Right.
or dietitians, that type of thing. But oftentimes it's good for students to get involved in student organizations while they're still going through their academic program, and we've started an urban health program student organization in the College of Applied Health Sciences.
Yeah, with your advice and Ken Morgan, we wanted to start an applied health science diverse student organization. And the reason why we chose diverse versus minority, because we want students of all walk of life to be engaged. And of course, we want underrepresented students there as well. So there's about 3 things that we're doing. We wanted to form an organization. My first year here, me being a more mature student, I was able to navigate a lot of things, but some students aren't. So we want, when people get on campus, we want them to know the resources that are available, how, they should prepare for their classes, the other students that they should meet, faculty, just how to navigate, the college experience.
Right.
So we're setting up a mentoring program for first year, second year, third year, all the way down to, alumni. And the other thing we're doing is focusing on also career development.
Outstanding.
You need to start working on your resume right now.
Absolutely.
Interviewing skills. What are the things that you need to do in college that'll make you look attractive to, to future employers? Volunteering, getting those free internships, really getting to know professors so they can write a really good letter of recommendation.
Right.
It's hard to get a professor to write a letter of recommendation if they only seen you in class and they barely know your name.
Right.
So those are some things we tell students to start doing from day one. And the last thing we always want to do, much like the urban health program, is volunteer. You don't have to be Bill Gates or Russell Simmons to be able to give back. A lot of people just want your time, sweat equity, and a little bit of passion. And a big heart.
Absolutely.
So we felt it was very important, since we have, I think, over 6 disciplines in the applied health sciences, and students can get lost. We want to make sure that we engage students very early so they can be as successful as possible.
Absolutely. Outstanding. And it's so much, again, indicative of the urban health program in its entirety.
Right.
And we're doing those things across all of the health sciences, and it's really important that we're doing it in applied health sciences as well.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about nutrition.
Okay.
Because I'm sure folks that are tuning in, might have some questions. And again, I remind you, if you've got questions about nutrition or about any of the educational opportunities that we're talking about, make sure you give us a call at 312-738-1060. Eric, I mentioned that, I kind of learned how to cook over the telephone.
Right.
Now, the good news is I learned how to cook from my grandmother.
Right.
And, that's, old school recipes but that's also the bad news, because a lot of those old school recipes involve a lot of fat and so tell us a little bit, what are some of the shortfalls of the way we perhaps used to do things, and what we know now about nutrition and preparing food, and how can we be healthier rather than cooking in Crisco all the time.
Right. So it's interesting kind of how especially cooking in general has evolved. We have like Southern cuisine, which we call soul food. That's a whole different ball game, in which collard greens, for example, are a great healthy dish, but if you cook them for 2 hours, the vitamins in collard greens and green leafy vegetables are water soluble, so you lose a lot of the benefit. Or if you put extra fatty meat in it to give it flavor. So it's not just about choosing what we call healthy cuisine. It's also about healthy ingredients, healthy preparation methods, and a thing that's kind of happened over time, no matter what cuisine it is portion control.
Right.
When I was growing up,
that's my biggest problem.
We won't name the restaurant, but a regular size fry was a small fry.
Right.
Now it's not. It's actually you have to request that. And so when we look at the way the restaurant industry and marketing is going, we're actually consuming more calories than we need. Of course, with convenience, cars, transportation, computers, telephones, laptops, you name it, we're moving less than we used to.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
When you combine all of those things, convenience, extra calories, moving less, I think, we kind of get in trouble with nutrition. And nutrition is one of those things where if it's not paid attention to over a long time, it can lead to chronic diseases, which
absolutely
calls for the need of the students in the applied health and the sciences. That's why we're here to kind of help with that. So nutrition is one of those things where, I just tell people to start looking at nutrition labels. Don't believe what people tell you. Just because it has a green check mark doesn't mean it's completely healthy. Know what nutrients can get you in trouble. The fat, the cholesterol, the sugars. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about, low carb, high protein, all of those particular things.
Right.
A lot of blogs out there, I would say, speak to a dietitian, a doctor, a nurse, a qualified health professional. Start doing your own research. And then, the other things you don't have to eat, start, kind of best practices. You go to a restaurant that overserves you, take half your plate, put it in a, to-go container, enjoy it, and then actually it's not expensive because now you got 2 meals instead of one.
Right.
And you got lunch for tomorrow, or a late night snack. So those are some of the things that I think people should do. And my philosophy is I want to empower people to understand a little bit of what I know, so they can begin to make better choices instead of always saying, tell me what to do. I want you to know, and the more you know, the more questions you're asked and the more astute. So once one generation learns more, the next generation learns more, and so forth and so forth. So we can begin to at least stop the trend of poor nutrition and begin to sort of reverse it.
Absolutely. So we hear so much these days about childhood obesity.
Right.
And I know that you've had a particular focus on working with young people and how important that is. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done with young people, but also why is it important that we start working with young people early on when we're talking about nutrition and exercise and those types of things?
Well, one of the things that helped me in my studies is we study a lot of behavioral theory, and I sort of learned that between the ages of 9 and 12 is when most young people begin to form lifelong habits. So I want to get to young people early to kind of correct some of these, of course, with proper parental role modeling, support system, school nutrition, programs like the First Lady's Led to Move. She's doing a lot with childhood marketing. A large network says, hey, we're not running these type of commercials anymore if they're not promoting healthy food. So there's a lot of environmental factors that affect kids, but I think there's a huge opportunity for us to educate children, since we do have them for 7 to 8 hours a day. And I've come up with programs that use the same tactics as some of the toy companies, the movie companies. You use puppets. You use comic book characters, music, dance, cartoon characters. So you begin to build a relationship and capture that attention of the children. And then once you capture, you build a relationship and you capture their attention, then they're able to begin to pay attention to the information, begin to process it a lot more, ask questions, and it's all about engaging the students. I think there's a lot of information out there, so I don't think there's a lack of information. I think what needs to be more prominent is how we engage the students. So not only do we engage them, and how do they learn? What's the best way the students learn? And that's not the same way for each age group, each cultural group.
Right.
So you have to be able to be flexible and innovative in order to be able to reach our young people these days. But I think there's a lot of great programs out there, and I'm just going to do my part to help, make sure children are empowered to lead a healthier lifestyle.
Sure. I remember when I was growing up, and I might be dating myself, but I might not be, because it might still be out there. But I remember the president's fitness awards that you could get in high school, that there were some very specific things that if you could do, 50 sit-ups and 20 push-ups and 10 pull-ups, and there were, if you could run the mile in less than 10 minutes or something like that, then you could earn this medallion or something that said that you were active and that you were healthy. And do they still have those kinds of programs? Because I just don't hear about that kind of thing anymore. And even if they do have them, the fact that we don't hear about them, that might be a problem as well.
Well, there's a lot of programs out there. One, the President's Award is still around.
Okay. So I didn't date myself.
You didn't date yourself. It's still here. And I think the President Obama, his organization, I think it's 5 days a week, at least 60 minutes a day, for over a period of 60 to 90 days. If you Google a website and go to, the president, you Google President and Fitness Award, you should be able to see that. But these are for children, and as long as you can document that and prove that, and most schools are participating in that, the physical education teachers or homeroom teacher, and they can get a President's Award, not only for the kid, but if their family partakes in these activities as well.
That's very important.
Yeah. And I participate in Chefs Move to School, which is a program under First Lady Michelle Obama, in which she gives awards to school to meet certain criteria from a nutrition standpoint.
Outstanding.
So they have to have a health and wellness, mission. They have to have these goals documented. They have to have these policies that kind of show all the way from food service down to the homeroom, how is nutrition and physical activity being implemented at a particular school. And once these, kind of industry chefs get engaged, they can submit back to Chefs Move to School, and then of course they can apply for this particular award. And there's grant money that goes back to the school as well.
Outstanding. We've only got a few more minutes with Eric today, so remember, if you've got questions, specific questions about staying healthy, about healthy diet, and about the types of things that you can be doing at home to make yourself and your family more healthy, then be sure to give us a call there at 312-738-1060. Eric, you mentioned engaging the professionals, and I know that you've got a pretty interesting professional background. That you've talked about certainly some of the things that you're doing right now, but you're doing it from a position of knowledge and experience. Right. I think our audience would be interested to hear that you've worked for some pretty major food organizations in your past.
Yep. So I started off as a Russian linguist in the U.S. military, and I went to UIC undergrad.
Wait, you said a Russian
linguist? A Russian linguist.
Wow. Yeah. I'm more impressed with you every day. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I tell people, they watch Crimson Tide. I lived it.
Okay.
So,
very
cool. I'm nowhere as handsome as Denzel Washington, but I had some good times in the military.
Okay.
Got an undergraduate degree in information systems and went to McDonald's Corporation as a programmer.
Okay.
Kind of fell in love with the restaurant industry there. Worked for IBM for a while, came back home, had a few businesses, went to go work for Aramark.
Another major food company.
In the sales department, director of business development. Left there, went to culinary school, went back to McDonald's in operations to learn how to run multiple restaurants. So it was my second time going back because I felt I needed some expertise in running a food service operation. Then after Aramark McDonald's, started a healthy meal delivery service called Alter Eco. We delivered healthy meals, calorie conscious meals from Evanston to the Indiana border. Closed that down. Took an opportunity to become an associate director for a non-for-profit called Inspiration Corporation. We built a $2.7 million cafe in East Garfield Park.
Okay.
Not too far from the conservatory, and we train low-income individuals, ex-offenders, and ex-homeless individuals in culinary arts, and then we also serve the community as well.
Outstanding.
And then when I started the program at UIC, I felt it was probably most prudent that I do it full-time, so I kind of disengaged from that corporate life and then focused on school full-time, and now I want to combine all those skill sets to provide, healthy, delicious, nutrition advice to individuals and make it, once again, engage in the community and making it fun.
Well, Eric, we've only got a couple of minutes left before we need to wrap things up. So, I want to give you an opportunity to share with our viewers, what are your top tips? What are the 3 or 4 things that you would tell folks? These are the things you need to do these are the things you need to, and you've given us some of that already, but these are the things that we really need to be paying attention to so that we can be sure to maintain a healthy lifestyle, that we can be sure that the food that we're eating is the best food for us.
Yep. Well, I would say a couple things. I like to do things in threes. Is one, become an expert at supermarket shopping. One is do menu planning before you go to the supermarket. Write down your list of ingredients. Be able to use chicken breasts, black-eyed peas, green beans throughout a couple recipes, so you're not wasting anything and you're getting the most out of your particular purchase. The other thing is buy things in season. Understand kind of the paradigm, the periphery of the supermarket is where you find kind of the meats, the dairy, and the produce. The middle is kind of where you find some of the processed and canned food. Nothing wrong with canned food, but I would probably say go fresh, go frozen, and then go canned when you look at the kind of the pyramid of health. So definitely becoming more familiar with the supermarket and understanding and how to read a nutrition label. The other thing is, we need to get back into the kitchen. It's hard to control your nutrition outlook if you're not cooking your own food.
Yes.
So it's usually cheaper if you do the menu planning and bulk shopping and plan it out. I've cooked a meal for a family of 4 with salad, entree, starch, vegetable, protein, and dessert for about $4.50. And we did that on Windy City Live recently with the American Heart Association. So I've kind of done it myself, and my mom taught me how to shop in the supermarket. So getting back in the kitchen, and the other thing is having fun in the kitchen, teaching your kids how to cook, getting them engaged in recipes and what they like to eat. And then the last thing is, no matter what you eat, you have to move and be active.
Yes.
We talk about nutrition, but what goes in has to be burned off or utilized properly in order for you to have a healthy body. So I never talk solely about nutrition without talking about physical activity. So becoming supermarket savvy, getting back in the kitchen, cooking home cooked meals, and definitely moving and burning off whatever food you eat, even if it's fruit and vegetables.
Those are absolutely some tips to live by. So, Eric, thank you for spending some time with us today.
I appreciate. Thank you for the invite.
We appreciate your being here, and thank you for joining us today as well. This is our last show of this season. Typically, we come and spend a few months with you, and this is our last show this time around. We will, I'm sure, be back again a few months down the road, but again, if you've got questions about anything that we've talked about today, or if you've got questions about any of the health sciences or any of the educational opportunities that are available in the health sciences, be sure to give us a call at the Urban Health Program. Our number's there on your screen, 312-996-7727, or you can reach us via our website. Again, that information is there on your screen. We can answer your questions. We can refer you to folks who can get you going in the direction that you need to get going so that you can pursue a degree that's going to lead to a healthcare career. Again, thank you for spending some time with us. For the Urban Health Hotline and the University of Illinois at Chicago, I'm DJ Wells. Thanks for watching.